Hello, and welcome back to Between Screenings. I'm joined again by the wonderful Tom Percival, and we are going to chat all things film. Hiya, Tom.
Hello, Neil. How are you?
I've got a bit of a cold, so I might sound slightly more nasally than normal, but I'm good. I've been at the Berlinale since we last saw each other.
And what did you see in Berlin, Neil? I was gonna tee it up by saying, "And Neil, where did you get your cold?" And then you could have gone, "Well, Tom, I got it in in Berlin."
Well, I kind of wish I'd got my cold. I got my cold while I was in Berlin, but I think I got my cold from my daughter the week before. And it just then festered for a while. I was actually on a deload week from running last week. So I was running less miles last week and less intensity. And apparently it's quite common to get ill when you reduce your intensity.
Oh, really?
Apparently so.
I
But
imagine it's an immune system thing.
I still tried to go out and run 5 miles at a ridiculous pace on Sunday, and I had to stop and nearly die.
Oh, really? Because I saw you on Strava, and I was like, "Of course, Neil's running in Berlin. He's at a film festival, but of course, Neil has to keep up his training because God forbid your pace falls below, like, I don't know, 3.5 or whatever ridiculous number you're on these days."
Well, I wish I'd not gone for a run because it was -2 and my eyes were streaming, and I don't think I helped my cold. But anyway, yes, so Berlin, one of the big sort of 4 film festivals in the world, still trying to justify its prominence at the moment, really. So there's been quite a few articles recently about, is the Berlinale losing some of its cachet? Is it losing some of its relevance? Um, and I think that is something it needs to answer. I think it doesn't have the same wow factor in its selection as somewhere like Cannes. It doesn't have the same focus on celebrity. I don't think that somewhere like Venice does, but it's got a real focus on good quality cinema, on trying something a bit different, and historically sort of relatively political stances on certain films. So yeah, it's a funny year. It's the second year of Trisha Tuttle's directorship of the Berlin Film Festival. I think she's the first ever non-German to be stepping in and running the Berlinale. So that obviously comes with more pressure from within Germany. But yeah, I mean, I go there to watch films. I go there to network, meet sales agents, because you've got the European film market happening at the same time. So I actually went to a couple of film market screenings this year, which were pretty good. We'll talk about them in a minute. And just network, meet people I've not seen in a while. I met the guys from Edinburgh International Film Festival when I was over there. Met some of the sales agents whose films we have. Met some filmmakers whose films we have. It's just, again, similar to Cannes, it's nice that it's somewhere where the kind of whole film industry comes and meets. So I don't think, in terms of the film industry, it's losing its relevance, because I think the European film market there keeps that. I think in terms of the general public, I don't know if they get the world premieres that somewhere like Cannes gets. I do remember once in the early days of me going to the Berlinale, where one of the big gala films was the art house classic that is 50 Shades of Grey.
My word, really?
Yeah.
I mean, that must have packed them in, though.
Yeah, I'd have thought so. One other year I went, the big film they were showing was The Croods.
So, it's the Nick Cage caveman movie. But I suppose it's an awkward time of year because it's too early for blockbuster season. Like, realistically, that's not getting started till end of March, start of April-ish time. And we all know January is the dumping ground for rubbish as a general rule. So I suppose there's not, and February's just sort of there. I mean, obviously we've had a massive Valentine's Day movie this year, which we'll talk about. But I remember in 2025, the big Valentine's Day movie was Madam Web, and I can't see anyone at the Berlinale being like, "Oh, we've got to get Madam Web in." You know what? Tell Sony to push it back. So I don't really know what it can do if it wanted, because you and I have been at Manchester long enough to know that, well, it's great to show independent film and, support smaller filmmakers. The thing that gets people through the door to come and see some of those films tend to be your bigger tentpole, studio endeavors, sort of like, what was it we had year? Love Lies Bleeding, which sold 3
Massive.
screenings of, but I had people coming up to me and saying, well, because I was here, I went and saw other movies and I really enjoyed,
Yes.
X, Y, and Z, which they wouldn't have seen had they not come in for that bigger, more studio-based movie.
Yep, exactly. I mean, that's why you have those bigger films. They get you the press attention, the stars get you the press attention, and like you say, they get people to come to the festival. And if people have travelled, they're going to be like, "Well, I'm in Manchester now, and I'm at the Manchester Film Festival. What else have they got?" And they'll go and try something else out. So obviously, when I'm at a film festival, I'm just, I'm partly in Berlin for work and partly in Berlin for pleasure because I like watching films. And I watched 9 films this year at the Berlinale with varying degrees of enjoyment. So the first film I saw was Everybody Digs Bill Evans, which is a black and white jazz biopic of the apparently famous jazz musician Bill Evans, who I'd never heard of, and I still don't know anything about after watching the film, which is fantastic.
Perfect, exactly what you
It
want.
I also don't know anything about his music. I think I heard maybe one of his compositions. It was based on, apparently there was a seminal performance they did, his band did in New York, and that got turned into 2 LPs, which are very highly venerated in the jazz community. And just after those recordings, his bass player passed away. And the film really just focuses on that. The grief that followed the bass player passing away and his inability to perform, and having to also just straighten himself out because he was a heroin addict. So him kind of moving in with his brother and his brother trying to help him, and then saying, actually, you know what, I can't help you. You need to go move back with mum and dad. So then he moves back with his mum and dad. And it's kind of a slow film of him sort of connecting with his parents and understanding them a bit more, cleaning himself up, and then getting back into music. And I just don't, I didn't get it. It
You look
was,
so baffled by this movie.
I didn't get it. It, I didn't learn anything about Bill Evans as a person. I didn't have any personal interest in him during the film. He was a wholly, I don't mind. I don't. Characters don't need to be massively likable. He wasn't likable or dislikable. He was just he was bland as anything. The best thing about the film, by a mile, was a different Bill, not Bill Evans, but Bill Pullman, who is in the film, giving an absolute brilliant turn as his dad. So the scenes with Bill Pullman as the dad with the um, son are really, really good, and him kind of understanding his dad. And Bill Pullman's just got some absolutely brilliant lines. And basically, Bill Pullman and Laura Metcalf as the mum and dad are brilliant. And I saw someone else's letterbox review, which kind of said, there's a really great film in here somewhere that is basically just a relationship between Bill Pullman and Maggie Evans. So yes, I was not a good start, I would
No.
say,
Was that the first thing you saw
in
at the
my time at
festival?
the Berlinale. Huh?
Was that the first thing you saw at the festival?
That was the first thing we saw. Yes, that was the first one.
Always always
And
rough.
then that evening we went and saw another film, Prayer for the Dying, which was playing in the new perspective section, which is their first time feature section, which is actually where I found most of the really fun, different, good stuff at the festival this year. I enjoyed Prayer for the Dying. I was very tired, so my eyes did close every now and again, but not because of the film. It was, as a first feature, it was incredibly, um, it was in, it was incredibly adventurous. A first feature. It's a Western slash. It's based on a book. It's a Western, but also a sort of a movie about a epidemic. So they're having to sort of, yes. So, but visually, it's absolutely stunning. what the directors tried to do on a smaller budget is brilliant. I think it was a really, really interesting film. One, I know it has uh, sold to someone, so it is really, really good. I would definitely suggest seeking that one out. I'm not going to give detailed reviews for absolutely everything, um, so don't worry. Uh, I also saw Rosebush Pruning, which was a big starry one. So that was Elle Fanning, Callum Turner, um, Jamie Bell, Tracy Letts.
I saw like a proper
Um, yeah, Dua
B-list
Lipa was
cast,
there with
basically.
Callum.
Of course.
So, you got your full red carpet for that. And it was great. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. It was very dark humor. You will not brush your teeth the same again after seeing this film.
Okay,
I can't say any more than that. But if you are happy to find rich, privileged people who are also in a weirdly incestuous, abusive relationship with their family funny, then it's great.
okay. I mean, it sounds good. It sounds very much of the now. If we're doing, God, aren't rich people terrible? But I like the rich people are terrible genre, so I can stick with that.
Yeah, I mean, we came out and Carl, who was there with me, immediately said, I wonder if that's the guy that writes the Yorgos Lanthimos. So immediately
Uh,
looked it up, and it was
Wasp. Oh, what a
Yorgos is a
surprise!
writer. So yeah, it wasn't, that wasn't a big surprise. But yeah, it's fun if you're not the sort of person who gets offended by things easily. You
Okay,
can find it funny. But if you're going to be too squeamish and upset by things, and if you are, that's fine. But if that's you, you're not going to be down with this film at all. Pamela Anderson also has a cameo in it, which is absolutely brilliant. She's
okay, right.
class.
I mean, you've got me there. I mean, you already had me, but yeah, Pamela, see me. One ticket, please.
Yeah, and then I also saw Nightborn or Jon Lapsi, which is a kind of Finnish British co-production horror around a woman suffering. A lot of people have said that it'd be a good double bill with Die My Love because it kind of deals with the idea of postpartum depression, but deals with it in the way that the woman's child is actually a demon.
Okay, right.
And she has to feed it blood and raw meat, and it bites people's fingers off and properly ruins her nipples. But no one believes her. Everyone else is just like her husband, who is played by Rupert Grint. It's just like, why? Like, just stop being so mad. It's your son. He's fine.
I
So she sort of gets gaslit uh, when actually she's not suffering postpartum depression. Her son is a demon from the woods.
I love what the Potter kids have decided to do with their infinite wealth of just make the most random, just whatever takes their fancy, they'll go do it. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I mean he's fine in it. I don't think he's the
Oh,
strongest actor of his generation, but like you say, at least they're doing interesting stuff. Go and do interesting, fun projects, and he looked like he had fun on it, and was there for the premiere supporting it. So yeah, great.
I mean, you sent a very controversial text about Rupert Grint saying that you do not think he's a good actor at all to out you in front of everyone. I'll be honest with you, I don't think any of the Potter kids are particularly good. I think they benefited from looking like the characters in the book. I think Daniel Radcliffe's got better. I've always thought Emma Watson was weak, and I thought Rupert Grint he's good in some bits, but I don't really like him as a lead and stuff. He's never really worked for me.
No, but go do the quirky stuff. I'm pretty sure people were shouting Ron at him in the press scrum,
Yeah.
and I'm sure he loves that.
So I've interviewed him, and he said to me, I apologized to him halfway through the interview because I had to ask him about Harry Potter, and he was promoting his Apple TV Plus series. And he was like, "Listen, I'm never annoyed to be called Ron because being Ron has paid for my very comfortable life." And I was like, "Fair enough. What a good attitude to have."
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you can either be pissed off by it and constantly feel like it's a chip on your shoulder, or you can just go, well, it's, see the positives. I've got a couple more films for you, Tom. So then that was that day. That day was done. The next day, I saw Animal, which is a British prison drama, directorial debut of Ashley Walters,
Oh,
who
okay.
people will know from Top Boy and Adolescence. And Stephen Graham makes a bit of a cameo in it, and it was great. It was you got everything you expect from a British prison um, movie. It was gritty. It was set in a young offenders institute, so it was slightly different, but it looked equally horrible. I would not survive 5 minutes in this prison. I would be dead.
He was a
Um,
kid, or is that you as an adult?
Either as an adult going into a kids one or a kids going into an adults one, they would eat me alive. But it's really good. There's a sort of um, bit of a love story within it, which is kind of nice. They didn't lean too heavily into that. There's a character, Ukrainian actor who plays a Polish character in it, and he's absolutely brilliant. He's very, very funny. He was very funny in the Q&A afterwards as well, because we got the cast and the crew for the Q&A. Really thoughtful. The cast, they spoke really well in the Q&A afterwards. It was really good. So I think that's a Sky Film 4 or a Sky BBC production. So that'll be coming out at some point, I imagine. Interesting. I'm interested to see Waste Man in the next couple of weeks as well, to see how much sort of overlap there is there. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it'll be interesting to see that. But I really enjoyed that. I also saw a film called The Incomer, which is another British film. You'll like this one. It's just played Sundance, so I suppose the benefit of where the Berlinale is in terms of they get a lot of films that have played Sundance and then come across. The Incomer wasn't in competition or in selection at the Berlinale. I watched that in a market screening, but it's Domhnall Gleeson uh, is a council worker for the North Scottish Council, and he is sent to a remote island where they've discovered that they want to be a wildlife sanctuary, and they've discovered there are two people still living there, and it's a slightly crazy brother and sister who kind of got abandoned. Their mum left them um, on the island, and their dad then, because the mum left slash died, the dad then sort of walked into the sea when they were young because he had to sacrifice himself to the mythical creatures that guard the island in the sea, and left the two kids on their own, but with a very much a fear of incomers from the mainland. So they grew up basically wanting to fight off any incomers and very protective of their island. So Domhnall turns up to evict them, and yeah, they're not happy about it, and
Imagine.
chaos ensues.
Right, well, that is of what you've listed so far, the demon baby, yes. The island with the crazy brother and sister, yes. The toothbrush
It's
movie,
very
maybe.
Yeah, it's very much in the vein of um, it's very much in the vein of sort of a Ballad of Wallace Island type film, or Brian and Charles, that kind of kooky vein. There's a couple of bits in it where I think it went a bit too far, and I think it just went from being funny to being like, these people are like, he's a bit too mentally ill now. I think we maybe went a little bit far with that one, but generally I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Um, my guess is it will be playing Edinburgh International Film Festival, if I had to guess, because it is a Scottish production and it's not played a film festival yet. So, uh, also saw Filipiana, which is another sort of British slash Philippines co-production based on a short film that played the Berlinale a few years ago. Again, just played Sundance. I had already seen about 20 minutes of it on a screener.
Okay, did we
It's
get
not something you can watch on a screener. It is slow cinema. So it is a day in the life of a girl who's just started working at a golf course in the Philippines. And it very slowly follows her around, eating mangoes, putting balls on tees for people, sort of chasing the president of the golf course around, who's called Dr. Pananka. It's got an amazing dance scene in it with a great song about Dr. Pananka. It's very slow. You've got to sit in it. the director in the sort of intro for it said it's a film don't just watch with your eyes, but you can watch with your skin and your teeth.
Oh, okay. I've
Which
never watched a movie with my teeth, but okay.
yes, I didn't know quite what you meant, but I do. It's a film you sit in and experience, and I think you need to be in a cinema to be able to do that. I don't think a lot of people would have the patience at home with distractions around to fully get this film. But I hope it gets a good theatrical release in this country. I hope people go and see it because it is very different and it is really. It didn't feel for something so slow. It didn't feel like an hour and a half long. The film was gone before you knew it, and it was. I really enjoyed it. I kind of expected to be a bit bored with it because of what I'd seen of the screener, but no, really enjoyed it. And then I've only got two left now. One I will talk about for 30 seconds because it was crap, and it was called Dust, and it was absolutely terrible, and utter stinker. Um, it was bad.
What was wrong with it? Well, it's just one of those movies you didn't vibe with, or like badly
No,
made, badly
demonstrably
performed.
bad.
Ooh,
It
okay.
was I thought it was set based on a true story. Turns out after it wasn't based on a true story, which makes it even worse. So it's set in Belgium in 1999. Two sort of tech entrepreneurs, one the actual brains behind the tech and one the sort of salesman, have created this language um, software that can type based on you talking.
Okay.
And they're selling it to the world from Flanders, from Belgium. And they've got a huge company that's worth loads of money, and everyone in Belgium's bought shares in it because they're so proud of their big technological company. But it turns out they've been cooking the books for years and lying about their profits and have millions of shell companies where they've just basically completely lied. So the board decide these two. There's a whole board that are behind this. They decide they've got to throw these two under the bus. And the whole film is the night after they get told they're going to be arrested at 9 in the morning. It's them dealing with the fact they're going to have to go to jail.
Doesn't sound like my cup of tea. Boo, thumbs down from Neil.
Um, yeah, I mean, are we meant to feel sorry for these two rich white men who've screwed loads of people
I
over
was
and
gonna
are
say
going to
who
make lots of
defrauded
people
people.
poor because they bought shares?
I mean, I suppose it's an interesting idea in theory, but much like a lot of films that have characters you dislike, it is hard to care for them. Like if the film is built on the drama of, oh no, these people are going to prison, you should probably feel sorry for them in some way, and that's difficult when they're horrible people.
I mean, they don't necessarily come across as horrible people, but I think that's some people's problem with it is it humanizes them. It's like trying to make them out to be nice guys. It's like, yeah, but I don't need to know that the guy that's
No.
basically committed financial crime is a nice guy. Like, it's not what I need. And it just all the interesting stuff in the film happened in the first 10 minutes, and then it was just dull after that.
Mm.
Um, which I can't forgive it for. I just don't.
That's good.
Why are these films getting made, and why is the Berlinale programming a film that is that crap?
I was gonna say you can forgive a lot of things in a movie, but being dull is not one of them.
And then, yeah, so there's just one other film I saw, which I was on the last morning. We popped along and watched Sunny Dancer, which is another British film starring Bella Ramsey,
Right?
also starring James Norton and Jessica Gunning. I liked it. It's a
There was too long a
teen.
pause there. I'm sorry.
It's a teen coming of age comedy. So it's set basically. Bella Ramsey had leukemia, but she's in remission. But her parents decide to send her off to camp in the summer, and it's camp for children who are cancer survivors or who have cancer. I saw one of the criticisms of it in one of the trades is that the problem is that Britain doesn't have summer camps, and I was like, no, we do have summer camps. We're not
So we
maybe
do.
as big on summer camps as the US, but they do exist in the United Kingdom. So I don't know where they got that idea. But yeah, so it's kind of a feel good coming of age teen romance film. Um, some of it, when it's trying too hard to be funny, it's one of the more cringy things I've ever watched. So James Norton and Jessica Gunning as the parents of Bella Ramsey, every time they're on screen, I want to crawl inside my own skin. Like, so awkwardly, uncomfortably embarrassing.
Is it that are they going for the cringe humor of something? Obviously, the in-betweeners probably isn't the best reference for that, but are they going for, like, the parents are embarrassing type angle for it? Or is it just oddly performed and badly written? What's the reason that it doesn't quite work?
They're going for the parents are cringy, but
Okay.
the mum turns up and is like, "Don't worry, she's got loads of alcohol in her bag. I've put loads of booze in her bag for her,"
Oh,
and
no.
things
No.
like trying to be. They're just trying too hard to make the parents cringy by
I also
saying,
feel that this is a style of humor from sort of the late aughts, that
"Yes."
like aren't parents dorky, and it's a bit like okay.
There's also weird things like James Norton's character drives a like 1970s Mercedes,
Yes.
and then arrives at the summer camp, and you're thinking, "Oh, it must be set." Why is he driving that old car? Like, that's random. Why is he not just in a flipping Prius or something?
Because James Norton wanted to drive that car, and they were
Yeah,
like,
but
"Okay, if you're gonna be in the movie, you drive whatever car you want."
maybe. And then Neil Patrick Harris is also the sort of camp counselor, so he's very Neil Patrick Harris. Again, when he's trying to be too cheesy and American-y, I run a summer camp, it it's a bit too cringe, but there are some really genuine moments with him in it where I was like, "Oh, actually, no, I really enjoyed that." So there's the bits where it wasn't, and some of it was funny just because it was funny. And there was another scene as well where the kids randomly get sort of heckled and attacked by a group at a fairground, and you're just watching it going, "Well, that wouldn't happen. That's absolute nonsense." Um, so there were bits of it that I just didn't vibe with, but overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought there was some really Bella Ramsey was great in it. There were some really good performances in it. There's a big jump scare cameo in it, which was
Pamela
amusing, but
Anderson again. Did she turn
no,
up?
not Panorama. I won't ruin it for you, Tom, if you ever
No,
see
please
the
don't.
film. Um, I won't ruin it, but yeah, I think they could have made fun of the cameo more because he would have been fine with being made fun of, from what I know
Okay.
of this person. Um, so yeah, overall, I thought it was really good. Again, I think it was a second feature. It was in I think the Generation strand, so the strand they've got specifically aimed at younger people. The Germans in the audience were pissing themselves. They love a laugh in a cinema. Like, they go for it.
Are they as bad as Americans, just clapping every single thing that they say?
Yeah, no clapping, but if something's mildly funny, they will laugh their absolute heads off.
They want everyone to know that the stereotype isn't true. Germans do have a sense of humor, and they got that joke.
I mean, I was not laughing at the bits they were laughing at because I found them too cringy, but maybe in a foreign language, they're not as cringy.
We're British. Like, our version of "that was the funniest thing I ever saw" was saying, I had a lovely time at the pictures this evening."
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or, oh, it was better than I expected.
Yeah. "Oh, was it bad? That was it?"
That's a Michael McIntyre thing, by the way.
What was it? Are we stealing Michael McIntyre's bit?
Yeah, yeah. He says when because in Britain you're like leaving a gig and people will be like, "Oh, it was all right actually." And he's like, "Well, you paid money to come." But yeah,
Everyone knows going outside is horrible.
yes,
Brits just
exactly.
admit it.
And that's me. They're all the films I saw in Berlin.
Well, which one was your favourite, Neil? Very quickly, let's wrap up Berlin.
Yeah, no five-star bangers, unfortunately. I think Rosebush Pruning probably up there. I really enjoyed that, and sadly, I think The Incomer, which was not in competition or selected, but was just a market screening, was probably my next favourite. So,
As is
um,
so often the way.
but yeah, like Dust deserves to just go where dust goes and get in the bin because what a waste of 2 hours of my life.
Well, I'll tell you what you won't waste 2 hours, Neil. Seeing a small film you might have heard of released on Valentine's Day, Wuthering Heights, which is one of the movies I saw at the press screening last week. I know it's out on general release now. This is Emerald Fennell of Promising Young Woman and Saltburn fame. I saw her latest with Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi. It's an adaptation of the Emily Bronte novel Wuthering Heights, would you believe it? But its unique selling point is it's Wuthering Heights, as in this is Emerald Fennell's vision of it, or at least that's sort of the get out they've used to excuse all of the liberties they've taken with the source material. Um, you'll no doubt, Neil, have seen all the discourse about this online. Like, is it good? Is it bad? It's the best thing ever. It's the worst thing ever. Well, I am coming in like the centrist Labour voting middle class white man I am to tell you it's neither the best thing you've ever seen nor the worst thing. It is perfectly serviceable. That's my hot
Oh, what
take.
a review. Get that
I
on the
know.
poster.
I will say I definitely see why people like it. Like, there are some really striking visuals. The production design looks amazing. The music by Charlie XCX, like really, really cool, like fantastic. Made a fan of me. The story itself is Wuthering Heights, and that's a very good story. Um, so all of that, great. The stuff that's not as good, arguably Margot Robbie's performance. She's supposed to be from Yorkshire, and she's talking like this. She is the whole way through. She's from Yorkshire by way of, the East End. Whereas
Dear.
Jake, Jacob Elordi is full on Yorkshireman here. He's talking like this, Pat, and don't you know it? And it's very, very thick. You get used to his accent. I would say he's the better of the two. The big problem with it for me was I just never bought them as a couple. Like, there was way too much artifice with Margot Robbie's character. She felt so, because that fake accent, I'd almost rather she'd just done it as an Aussie, because the fake accent just took me out of it completely. And when I was watching it, I was just very aware, oh, I am watching a movie. And you combine that with the stuff like the incredible, like the very stylized production design, the very stylized costumes. There was just this feeling throughout of, oh, this is really disjointed, and it just didn't quite work for me all the way through. There were some incredible moments, but also some moments where you're like, oh my god. Like, there's a bit where Heathcliff was walking up some stairs, and I was just like, mate, come on, speed it up. Get up those stairs. We want to get home. The car park is my car parking ticket is about to expire. Um, I didn't hate it. I get why people don't like it. Now I should say I did see this with Emily, and she absolutely loved it. She thought it was brilliant. We couldn't leave the cinema after the credits rolled because she was crying too much at the end. She was really, really into it. She thought it was magnificent. Uh, Again, I didn't see it myself, but people, when I've spoken to people in my day-to-day world, and they've all said that they were in bits watching it as well. They thought it was magnificent, like, really enjoyed it, really bought into the romance. So what do I know, Neil, is basically what I'm saying. I thought it was all right at best.
I've seen mixed reviews. It's had pretty mixed reviews. I've seen a couple of reviews saying sort of it's one of these films that cons you into thinking it's great because it looks so good. Like, great cinematography, absolutely beautiful cinematography and music doesn't mean it's a great film.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's kind of where I am with it. Like, it's hard to go wrong with that story because that story is so iconic. But, and I think this probably plays into what you were saying earlier about characters with unlikable leads. Heathcliff and Kathy are so unlikable at times that when there's while what happens to them is undoubtedly a tragedy, it's very difficult to feel bad for them because they've been the worst people imaginable for 2 hours. Like, it's doesn't quite work. You know what does work? Crime 101, aka Diet Diet Heat. Um, this is the new Chris Hemsworth crime caper with his Marvel buddy Mark Ruffalo. He's a swish thief, basic art thief. Mark Ruffalo's the cop on his trail. You've seen this movie a million times before now. If you've ever seen Heat, you've seen this movie. It's classic heist caper, cop desperately hunting to get his man, all that, all the cliches, it's all here. But this is proof that you don't have to be original to make an entertaining movie because It was I think I think the runtime's maybe nearly touching 2.5 hours. The movie began, and then
Too long. Too long.
I was leaving the cinema, and I was like, "Oh, where did the time go?" Like, I had so much fun with it. Halle Berry, absolutely great in it, as sort of this art insurance woman who gets brought into, Chris Hemsworth's scheme. Um, I would is it life-changing cinema? Absolutely not. But I guarantee if you put that on a Friday night, you're not going to be disappointed. Didn't feel essential, but I had a great time with it. And I was told by other people to sing its praises at every opportunity while recording the podcast. So that's what I'm doing. Go see Crime 101. It's very good.
It's not. I would say it's not a great name for a film, but it also does tell you this is the basics. We're not
Yeah,
trying to be clever.
yeah,
It's Crime
yeah,
101. If you don't
yeah.
understand crime, we'll explain it to you.
Yeah, like, you get all the classic moments, like, oh my god, like him explaining the heist, you seeing how the heist should go versus how it will go. There's, he's a swish criminal. He's got some cagey mates who, they do betray him. All the stuff, all the stuff. Would you believe Mark Ruffalo gets his cop? He's in a struggling relationship. Would you believe that that is part of this film? Uh, but yeah, great car chases, had fun with it. And that's basically all I need from this type of film. I wasn't expecting Heat 2. I was just expecting to have a good time, and that's what I got.
We talked about the opening and closing night of Manchester Film Festival when we last spoke.
We actually haven't, Neil. I'm sure you have plenty to say about this. I did think before when you mentioned Stephen Graham, what a perfect segue this would make to when will we next see Stephen Graham at a film festival, Neil?
Well, you'll see him on a big screen, having done a virtual Q&A with the lovely Emily before the screening. But we've got our opening night film. We've got a sort of little package. So we've got the world premiere of Kit Harington's directorial debut short film called Psychopomp, a sort of black comedy about someone who hires a hitman to kill them. So suicide by a hitman. It's a black comedy. It's like I say, Kit Harington's directorial debut, and he's going to be traveling up to the film festival to take part in a Q&A afterwards. So we're very excited to welcome Kit to Manchester, and that will then be followed by a preview screening of The Good Boy, which is a new film starring Andrea Riseborough and Stephen Graham, and is co-written by Manchester writer Nakash Khalid, who did the film In Camera, which you may or may not
Yeah.
have heard of a couple of years ago. And it's a film about Stephen Graham's character rehabilitating a young offender in a slightly quirky way.
So I saw the trailer for this, I think, like 2 weeks ago, but I know someone who got to see this very early, and is someone I trust implicitly on films, who I will not name for embargo-y reasons, but told me that this is something brilliant. And I know we would say that, but genuinely said he loved it, like thought it was great, and he has not stopped telling me, "You need to see this movie." Like, he's been emailing me saying, "I'm trying to find us another screening of it in London. We'll go see it." So when you said that it was the Manchester opening night film, I was like, "Excellent. Well, brilliant." I want like, cannot wait to see it, basically.
It is a very Manchester Film Festival film as well. It's exactly the right sort of film for our audience. It's literally the perfect thing to open with. And then closing, we've got California Scheming, the James McAvoy directorial debut, which is
Right.
going to be a banger.
I, again, have heard very good things about through certain circles, which I'm not obliged to say at this moment. But yeah, an exciting film. And it is James gonna be there, or is
We're
he?
very hopeful. So we were going to open with California Scheming, but we moved it to be in the closing film because James's shooting schedule means that weekdays are a definite no-no for him, but weekends are a possibility. So
Mm.
we won't know for definite until probably a week, maybe 2 weeks before the screening. But we know we've got the lead actors in the film, so they're
Yeah,
going to be coming up for it, which will be great. And we're fairly hopeful that James is obviously it's his directorial debut. He's incredibly supportive of the film, so we are very hopeful that James will be able to attend, but we just can't guarantee it at the moment. Which means you
what
can't slap that on your marketing materials, sadly.
what I should say is that I heard one member of the jury, of the Manchester Film Festival jury, which I recruited the other day, um, is a huge James McAvoy fan to the point where, and I'm going to use gender neutral pronouns, so you don't know who it is, where I was slightly concerned that if James McAvoy is there, what this person might do. And I hope James or his PR isn't listening because we will be keeping them all at least 50 feet
Yeah,
away
they
at
will
all
not be
times.
allowed. They will have a personal bodyguard just for this person if needed.
Yeah,
Tom, we will make sure they are. The James, if he's here, is not pestered by these people.
it's very
But we
exciting
do.
though.
It is
Like,
exciting. It is.
like, I know, like we've been doing the festival for 11 years. Is it?
Yep. This is the 12th
You know,
edition, so 11 years. Yeah.
so yeah, so God, oh yeah, I always forget about the gap between the first and the second. So the 12th edition of the festival, and I know it's a cliche to say, like it just feels like it's getting better and better each year, but genuinely, like those types of like they are such exciting opening and closing films. No other stuff hasn't been, but I just think it speaks to how far you've taken the festival in that time. Like they they are get like any definition. Like they're good fits for the festival in the subject matter, but also the talent involved in them. And it goes back to what we were saying earlier, much earlier about the Berlinale. Like that will get people into into the festival, and then they'll see more while they're there because you want to see the new James McAvoy film, you want to see Stephen Graham's new movie. You will come, you will pick up a program, and then oh, there's a shorts thing on. There's this on. I'll go see that. Very exciting, Neil.
Well, amazing. We've actually had some films sell out already. So
Wow.
ones you don't expect as well, which is mad. So The Last Viking, starring. We've just put on an additional screening of The Last Viking, starring Mads Mikkelsen, directed by Anders Thomas Jensen. Um, he there's a bank robbery. A bank robber's released from jail, so Mads, and is traumatized by his brother's memory to recover some stolen loot.
I bet, Neil,
A
you're not
black comedy.
mads. I bet you're not mads about it selling out, are you? Ha 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 ha
Oh,
ha ha.
so happy. I'm absolutely fine with it selling out. And so with that, we've just had to put an additional screening on of that, which is great. We've got another couple of films that are getting very close to selling out. We didn't talk. We also added a couple of films to the lineup. We've got a short film directed by Ian Paulston Davis, starring Matthew Horn, who's going to be at the festival. So he'll be at the festival taking part in a Q&A for that. We've also got The Fall of Sir Douglas Weatherford, starring Peter Mullen, which we've added, which is a sort of comedy film based around sort of towns being overrun with people who just want to go there because a famous fantasy TV show was filmed there, and how the
Can't
locals
imagine
respond.
doing such a thing, Neil.
And yeah, well, how the locals respond. And then we also added a film called Anything That Moves, which is about it's a mucky flick.
Oh, it's a mucky flick, is it?
It's a mucky one.
Oh, is it a real fire rubber?
Yeah, so it's an innocent Chicago food delivery boy, after having sex for money, finds himself involved in a series of murders that can be traced back to someone who he's in bed with. But he's been in bed with a lot of people, so it's it really pushes it with the sex in that film.
Sounds fun. I can't.
Um,
Is there going to be a Q&A for that one?
Unsure at the moment, but if you are someone who is squeamish about sex, don't go to that film.
I was going to say because I remember when you made me do the sex toy Q&A about 4 years ago at this point, and I've still not forgiven you for it.
Yeah, you'll be. I don't think you'll be doing that Q&A, Tom. Don't you worry. And that's it, really. That's everything. We're really excited. It's a month now, exactly a month today till the film festival starts. So, it's going to be good.
Did you
Right.
see? Did you see, Neil? By the way, my dinner arrived and it's so subtly brought in by our erstwhile third host, who one day will get her on.
I'm glad that is a veggie burger because there's, I mean, I hope it's got something other than a beige color vegetable in it because that is a beige dinner and a half, Tom.
That is a very right. So I am off to Manchester tomorrow for my sister's hen do, and Emily is about to go to LA for work. So we do not have food in the house. So we
How are
are
you allowed to go to your sister's hen do?
because
You're not
I
a
am my
girl.
sister's man of honor.
Mad.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Welcome
what,
to
what
2026.
a load of woke nonsense, Tom. World's
It's
gone mad. This
wokery
is
gone
absolutely
wild.
disgraceful.
So, and on that bombshell, should we call it there?
On that bombshell. Yeah, well, I think we'll wait till the next one to talk about the BAFTAs because the BAFTAs are this Sunday. I've put my votes in, so let's see if I voted for the right things.
I'm sure you did, as long as you just chose sinners for literally everything.
Well, who knows what I chose?
I
I think
thought
it was
it was like,
really tough to choose one film out of that lineup for best film. I think other years it's not been hard, and I think it's nice as well. I think the way BAFTA do it, personally, voting for your one film, you vote for your favorite, you vote for the winner in each category. That's it.
yeah,
None of this first, second, third.
yeah,
Because the first, second, third leads to people doing tactical voting. And that's how you end up with crap things winning, like Coda. Sorry, Coda. I liked the film. It was lovely. Wasn't an
wasn't the
Academy
best
Award
picture.
winning film. It
It's
won because people put it second or third to try and shut out the other film that they didn't want to
yeah,
win.
yep, exactly. That's so. When you went, so which category? Before you go, just tell me which category did you spend the longest on? Was it Best
Uh,
Picture?
I think Best Picture, yeah. Because
Okay,
you've got Marty Supreme, and it really was between three for me. It's one battle after another: Marty Supreme and Sinners. I don't know how you separate them really. Well, I did separate them. I picked one
I
of
was
them,
gonna,
but I mean,
we'll talk about this next. We'll talk about this next time after, and we'll see if you're and you can.
was-
We can go through them, and you can
I
let
can
me
tell
know
you what
each
I voted
time.
for and what actually
Yeah,
won.
yeah, exactly. Right.
Right, you enjoy your veggie burger, Tom. Enjoy being your sister's man of honor. Does that mean you had to organise the hen do?
I didn't have to organise the hen do because my sister knew that if it was up to me to organise the hen do, it just wouldn't happen.
Fair enough. Well, you enjoy being the man of honor at the hen do. I hope you're going to have a veil and a sash and a willy straw and
Oh,
all
I'm
those
definitely
fun
having a
things.
willy straw. Like, if I've not got a willy straw, I'm going to be really pissed off.
So yeah, enjoy, and we'll speak to everyone else next time between screenings.
Bye bye.
Bye.